The corner, the corner, the corner. Hey, welcome. Come on into Cousin Ed's Corner. This podcast is where you'll find real, authentic conversation, organic conversation, unscripted, unfiltered conversation, like you're home with your cousin. It's all about life. It's about finance. It's about spirituality. It's about love and everything in between. I'm your host, Cousin Ed. I'm excited to bring you along on this journey. So sit back and listen in as we dive into a wide range of topics. I have some diverse guests coming on with an array of thoughts and opinions. My goal is to create a space all for us to connect and communicate. It's not really about me. It's about the community as a whole. Let's enjoy it. Let's sit back. Let's think about our past. Let's move into our future. It's about the corner, the corner, the corner. So no matter how you cut it or slice it, we're all here together. I'm just here to give you a piece of my heart, my mind, my soul, and my mentals. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of Cousin Ed's Corner. The corner, the corner, the corner. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. What's going on? What's going on, fam? It's your boy, Cousin Ed. Cousin Ed's Corner back at you again. And today is a special episode for me, special episode for y'all. It is Thank God for Everything. And you know, we don't thank God just for Friday. We thank God for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We thank God for every moment, every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every month, every year, decade, and centuries for many of us. And today I truly thank God for this special guest that we're having on Thank God for Everything. And I'm honored. Like this is organic as forever. I've never done a show like this before. I've asked this gentleman to join me just out of the blue because I have a connection to him that it's like no other. So my uncle, my brother, my friend, I don't know what else to say. My doctor. I have Dr. Mansfield on the show. Dr. Mansfield, welcome to Cousin Ed's Corner. Hey,
I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm humbled that you would ask. And so, again, thanks for having me. It's pleasure being here. It really is.
I appreciate it. I am, like I said, I am honored. Most people know the story behind me and the internet. I don't like social media, right? I didn't like social media. And once I got into doing the podcast for myself, I had to get on social media. And I've been fortunate, we've been fortunate to find people such as yourself on social media that doing great things, not only through social media, but you're doing great things for the world. I appreciate you.
Well, again, I'm thankful for the opportunity to just to do what I do, and just thankful that God gives me kind of doors to walk through that I can help people. And I'm like you with social media. I never really was a fan to embrace it, but now that I have embraced it, we're doing okay. We're doing all right.
You're doing more than okay. So I'm going to treat this more. We're gonna definitely hit on and stay with thanking God, because that's what we mainly do every day, all day. But I want to find out more about you, right? Who are you? Like, what got you to the point of being on social media and delivering the messages that you deliver? So, can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and how God has placed you in this arena of doing what you're doing?
Yeah, well, I grew up in Columbus, Georgia. It's a small, medium-sized city in southwest Georgia. My mom was from Phoenix City, Alabama, which is a little bitty tiny town across the Chattahoochee River.
Where's that?
So not too many people do. And my dad died when I was 10, and he was in the United States Army. He was working at the Pentagon when he died. So we moved back to Columbus, and I grew up there. And I always just had the sense that I wanted to do something in medicine. I wasn't sure, but after seeing my dad died, I kind of wanted to be able to impact lives. At least in my 10-year-old head, I was thinking that, had I known something to do, I could have done it, which now that I'm older, I know that there was nothing I could do. And so I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship, ROTC scholarship, went to Howard University undergrad, then got into medical school, went to Morehouse med school, then finished my residency, went into the Army to serve my time for my scholarship. And then after I served 4 years, got out, started private practice, and kind of life has been kind of going since then.
So I've heard a whole bunch in there. So I do know what Columbus at. I went to school in Americans, and we used to head over to Columbus.
Yeah.
Hang out. Yeah, Georgia Southwestern. So I used to go over to Columbus and hang out for a while. And through basketball, I used to come down to Phoenix City for a couple of tournaments.
Yeah.
Crossed right over, and the time changed. I'm like, what the heck? I just crossed over, and
right.
Yeah. So I definitely know that area. But I heard a couple things in there. Howard, so HBCU.
Yep.
Then turned around and went to Morehouse, man.
Yep.
Went to the military. What branch?
I was an Army. Yeah.
Army.
Yeah. So Army stationed at Fort Bragg, which is now Fort Liberty in North Carolina, in Fayetteville.
Okay.
Which is where I got out and started my practice there. So, things have been very good for me.
I can only say God. Your story is amazing. And for everyone who's listening, I don't do things ahead of time and I just try to learn who people are while we're here together. And I can tell just from your presence on social media that you definitely are special.
Oh no! Well, no, I'm just like everybody else, man. I'm a servant.
Let me give you your flowers.
Well, I appreciate them, but I think there's a bed of flowers, and people who have different things that they're doing. And I'm just thankful. I always say that I'm the smallest hole on the smallest instrument in the largest orchestra in the universe, which is God. But if you don't have God blowing through the instrument has no value, right? And so everything that I've ever received is really just because God has been very kind and favorable to me. Not because I've been good or been great, because I've done some things that, I think all of us have our own dirt. But I've done some things that easily God could have been like, I'm done. And so I know that there have always been people that He's placed in my life, avenues that He's opened up that I didn't necessarily deserve, but He wanted me to get somewhere to help somebody else. And so that's kind of why He let it happen. But I'm thankful to be where I've gone. But it's certainly been a journey of ups and downs, for sure.
Definitely. I want to touch on a couple things in that journey that you talked about just now. Father passing away early age, having I'm not sure, but your mom raising you, that impacting your life, and you wanting to do ROTC. Did that, having those male figures around, help shape everything?
Yeah, I was my mom was a very strong woman. A very, very strong woman, believed in education. My dad's side of the family believed in education very strongly, and I had very strong men in my dad. My dad's brothers were very strong. And every summer, I wound up going to North Louisiana, to hang out with my dad's brother. And one lived in North Louisiana, one lived in South Louisiana. So I wound up hanging out with them as well. But I really got a scholarship because we just didn't have the money. My mom, didn't have the money to send me off to college. So I knew I wanted to go away, and so the only way I could get there is through a ROTC scholarship.
Excellent.
So I'm thankful for the scholarship, man, because I would have never gotten to Howard had I not had the scholarship. So you grow up poor, man. You don't know you're poor, especially in the South. You don't really know you're poor till you figure out you're poor, right? But
you be like, okay, hold on.
Yeah, because everybody else around you poor, so you're like everybody else, And as a matter of fact, in some cases, you're better than other people because you have consistent food and that kind of stuff. And so I'm thankful that I got the scholarship. Thankful I got to Howard, and then just things just kind of opened up for me.
Now, from Howard, when did you decide you wanted to go into medicine? You went straight into Howard knowing you wanted to go straight into medicine?
Yeah, well, I thought so. I got to Howard, and I thought I wanted to go to medicine, but Howard's so there's so many influences on Howard. So I got into politics, and so I thought, well, maybe I'll go to law school. And so I took the test to go to medical school. I took the test to go to law school, and this was very, very I would not suggest anyone else to do what I did. So I just told God, hey, whatever school accepts me first, that's the school I'm going to. And so the next letter I got was from Morehouse. So I say, hey, that's where I'm going. So I wound up going to medical school because of that. And I'm thankful that I did. I mean, I can see where God has nudged me all through my life. At the time, I didn't think it was the right nudge. But now looking back at it, I can say, I think medicine is the place I should be. Because it's kind of what I love to do. I love taking care of people. I love talking to people. I love understanding, not only with their disease, but what's going on in their life. Because, a lot for us, man, it's their life circumstances that impact them even sometimes more than their diseases.
Gotcha. And when you got to Morehouse, when did you decide on your field of expertise?
That was another God story. I thought I wanted to go into psychiatry because I was going to, be this kind of guy to go into the Black community and help. And I did psychiatry and hated it. I mean, I hated psychiatry. And so my fourth year, I was doing a general surgery elective, and I just happened to go in this room because I didn't know anything about the surgery. So I said, let me go and see. And it just happened to be this guy named Dr. Jones. He was a Black ENT surgeon in Atlanta.
Okay.
So he was doing what's called a radical neck dissection. He was removing cancer from this guy's neck, and he asked me a bunch of questions. I answered all the questions, and he said, "Hey, did you ever think about going into ENT?" And I said, "I don't even know what ENT is." So he explained to me what ENT is, and he says, "Hey, look, if you're ever interested, call me, and I'll write you a letter." And I said, "Okay, thanks." So the next day I called him and said, "Hey, Dr. I think I want to do ENT. I don't know anything about it, but I think I want to do it." He writes me this letter. I get these interviews, and every time I get an interview, the person kept saying, "How do you know Dr. Jones?" And I would go, "Well, I operated with him." He said, "Well, a friend of Dr. Jones is a friend of mine." So my last interview, the guy says, "Well, how do you know Dr. Jones?" I was like, "Well, I operated with him." He says, "Dr. Jones is the secretary of our national organization of ENTs."
Oh, man.
And I was like, "What?" So I get out of the interview. I call Dr. Jones. I say, "Dr. Jones, how come you didn't tell me?" He says, "Well, it never really came up. So I didn't know what to, So again, man, God puts the right person in the right place to talk to me, to write the letter, to get me into ENT. And ENT is a very small specialty. And it's even smaller. It's probably less than 2% African American. So there's only probably about 200 to 300 of us in the whole country.
Man.
Yeah, so it's not a lot of us. And so again, God just kind of always orchestrating, always moving, in spite of ourselves.
He will do it. Won't he do it?
Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
So you leave Morehouse, and you say then you had to fulfill your agreement for the service?
Yeah, exactly. So I leave Morehouse. I go to Tulane to do my residency in ear, nose, and throat surgery.
Okay.
I leave New Orleans, and then go to the Army. Stay in the Army 4 years, get out, and then start a practice.
So you had the opportunity while in the Army to actually use your services that you went to school for a while there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did ENT for the most part. I got deployed and went to some other countries and kind of used my skills, but for the most part, I used ENT. Yeah.
Excellent. So you said you decided to go back to North Carolina after that?
Well, I was already there, and so
Okay.
I didn't want to go back to Columbus, back home, just because I just didn't want to be back in that setting again. It was, I was in a good place. And I kept feeling that the Lord was telling me to stay
Okay.
there. I really wanted to go to Howard and work at Howard Hospital. Because at that time, they just had all these great Black surgeons that were there. So I wanted to be under them, but the Lord just kept saying, "No, stay where you are." So I opened a practice, and man, the Lord has been so faithful that our practice just exploded, just kept growing. And now 20 years later, man, I'm probably on the back nine of my career.
You young. Look, I can't see 20 years. Where did 20 years go?
Yeah, exactly. So,
Well, God has placed, I say, angels around you and kept you encamped with them, and definitely has seen you to today. How would you say you can, what would you say to someone that is coming out of high school, going into college now, and wanting to get in the medical field?
One, it's a very serious, it's a long road. It's a very long road. You have to be disciplined, but always keep in the back of your mind and in your heart that you can do it. That if you've been called to do it, you can do it. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but you can do it. I think one of the greatest things that happens is that people are told what they can't do. And it's very few times that we are pouring into people saying, yeah, it is possible. You can do it. And I always tell people, hey, if one person did it, then I can do it.
There you go.
Because if this, at some juncture, it's not just intellect, it's also, do you have the will to do it? And I think that particularly we as African American men, particularly, but in general in society, man, we're so negative. Everyone tells you there'll be 100 people to tell you can't do it. Mm-hmm. You need 100 people telling you, yes, you can. You can do it. You can make it. Keep going. Keep striving. Keep pushing. Even if you make a failing grade, that doesn't mean that the race is over. It just means that you got to back up, restart, and then keep on going. Because everyone is going to meet failure in their life. There's not a single person in the Bible who did not have to go into a wilderness. It did not have to go into a desert. Did not have to go backwards. But your greatest success can only come after one of your greatest failures. And so until you overcome failure, you can never be successful. And so that's what I would tell, hey, don't give up, don't give in, don't quit, keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting. And the only difference between most MDs and non-MDs is that the most MDs, they didn't quit. They just kept on grinding.
So you mentioned a couple things there. I want to get into your messages that I love so much every day. I look forward to them. I try to be the first one to answer and reply. Like the algorithm does not hit me right. I'll be like, listen, I didn't.
Yeah.
But I can see you grounded by God. I can see He's definitely a large part of your life. Where did these messages come from? Are you a pastor also? Are you a deacon also? Because these messages are so profound.
Yeah, well, I pastored. I pastored for 4 years. I've done a lot of different. The Lord's allowed me to do a lot of different things. I pastored for 4 years, and then I had stopped. I went through a dark season. I crashed my heart stopped. I crashed my car, and I wound up being in a coma for 4 days, having surgery. And then I came out of that, and that really wasn't the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life. Then I went through a divorce, and when I went through a divorce, I went to a really dark space. And like I've said on many other podcasts, is that when you go through a divorce, you really can tell who your friends are. Mm-hmm. And who are the Christians. Now, there are a lot of folks who are saved, but there are not a lot of folks who are Christians, right? And so when you're going through that period, a lot of people will walk away from you because they don't know what to do. They don't know what to say, so they don't say anything. A lot of people don't want to get involved. They don't want to take sides. Mm-hmm. But all of us, if we know friends who are going through that, they're not asking you to take sides. They're just asking for a little bit of encouragement, just to say, hey, man, you're going to make it. Keep fighting. If you need me, let me know. Or what I do now, because I have friends who are going through it, I call them. Because typically those of us who are going through it are not going to call, right?
Okay.
Because we know you don't want to be bothered. So I think that it's incumbent upon us to call our friends and say, hey, man, you're going to get through it. You're going to make it. Just keep on going. I'm praying for you. If you need anything, I'm right here, and I'll keep checking on you. And so after I came out of that, I knew that I wanted to live a different life. I knew I wanted to try to be positive every single day because I spent so much time being negative. And so I kept hearing God saying, I want you to get on social media. And I kept saying no. And my daughter, who's brilliant and smart, funny, and all the things, my daughter was like, Dad, you need to be on, because she's heard me preach, so she's like, you need to be on social media. You need to be telling people this stuff that you're saying in the pulpit. And I was like, yeah, okay. And so first I wrote them down, right? And so my daughter was like, Dad, no, don't write, talk. And so I started. I tell the story. God had been after me, and I said, okay, I'm gonna do one. But whatever happens, that's gonna be my sign of what you want. Now, if nobody looks at it, I'm not doing another one. And so I did this one about a patient of mine who had cancer 6 times, and on the 7th time, I told her she had cancer again, and she did this prayer that says, Lord, do it one more time. And so I put that little story on. And so my daughter called me in the middle of my office clinic, and she was like, hey, have you checked your TikTok? I did it on TikTok. She said, have you checked your TikTok? And I was like, no. And she said, well, check it. And so I checked it. It had like 125,000. And so I called back, and I was like, it has 125,000. Is that okay? Like, man, that's huge. And so it wound up going like 250,000. And so I was like, okay, God, I got you. And so I started doing them like at least once a week or twice a week, and not prayers, just kind of stories of patients. And my numbers kept going up, and then I got scared. I got really scared, because people were asking me stuff, and just a lot of stuff, and I didn't know what to do, so I stopped doing it. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I got on a airplane, a Delta flight from Raleigh to Atlanta. And this flight attendant kept saying, I know you. I kept telling her, you don't know me, right? And she said, no, I know you. And then she got another flight attendant, and they were whispering. And so just as I got off the airplane, I just crossed the threshold of the airplane. She stops me. She says, I know who you are. She said, you're that TikTok doctor. And I was like, yeah. And I hadn't been on for about 3 or 4 months by then. And she was like, where have you been? And I was like, well, I don't know. And she says, that those messages really mean a lot, and you just don't know how many people you're touched, and you don't know how many people that you're not touching because you're not doing it. And I got so convicted. Like I was going down I was walking through the Atlanta airport, and I feel like the Holy Spirit was like on my shoulders, like. And so I started back like in July, and I just started. The Lord said, do it every day. So I started being faithful every day. And then, it's interesting because, the Holy Spirit has kind of grown me as it's grown the viewership. It just, every day I learn something new. Prayer may not change your situation, but it always changes you. Definitely. And so I'm a different person than I was in July 8th when I first started. It's just because of the prayer.
So will it be this July another year, or?
Yeah, it'll be a year. Yeah, definitely. July the 8th. And so I got my daughter, she's a big marketer, so she's like, you got to do something. So we're trying to figure out something good to do, and really, something to give back to people, because the community itself, you and others are so faithful. I see I know the algorithm is not supposed to work this way, but I wind up seeing the same people every day. Like I wind up, I try to say something to as many people as I can within the time frame that I have to do it. And it's the same crowd, like the same group of folks that keep coming back and encouraging. And so I want to do something to just be honorable to the people who've been so faithful.
It's like that town hall, the town square, and I'm there every morning. Like, where's he at? Where's he at? Where's he at? Right. And then I go deliver the message and put it back up because I'm taking it to the next place, because it's so profound. It's so, even when it's not directly to me, I send it to somebody else who may need it.
Right.
Because you never know who may need that word that day. So you are definitely touching lives. God has put a definite calling on your life in so many ways, through medicine, through ministry, through being a friend, a brother, a father. All of those things God has definitely placed on you. And I see it. Looking at you, I see it. But just hearing you, I definitely feel it. and all that I hear from you every day. I'm looking for a book. I'm looking for a audio or something. I'm looking for that.
Yeah.
I
No,
can
you're
hear
right.
it coming.
No, you're right. And I keep hearing it from everyone else, which is a sign of God telling me, hey, you need to do this. And what I'm just trying to figure out, one, like I'm not trying to make a profit off of it. So I'm trying to figure out what's a great way to get it out so that it's accessible and inexpensive for people to be able to get. Because they're in all actuality, they're not my prayers. I mean, they're the Holy Spirit downloads them. And He's given me gifts that my brain works in a way that when I see words, they have to be a certain way. I just have this feeling with words. But that's if you ask my sister will say, I've been like this since I was little. Like I've always rhymed. I've always had to, have some way to say something a different way. And so it's not my gift. It's not, so I want to be very, faithful and be a good steward of what the gifts that God has given me. And I want to make sure that everybody gets access.
I got something for you.
All right.
Missionaries don't get paid to be a missionary. So you still delivering the word and you giving the gift. So continue to give the gift and you're rewarded already.
Yeah, right.
You're already rewarded. So don't worry about you're already rewarded. So continue to do what you're doing, and you are definitely an apostle, and you are definitely a missionary, passing the message on. On that note, I want to close out with a message from you. I know you sometimes you come off the top of the head, sometimes you prepare, but just a message from you pertaining to thanking God for everything. This episode on Fridays are dedicated to thanking God for everything. First of all, once again, I thank you for taking your time out for spending with me today, spending with us today. But I think bigger than Cousin Ed, I think hearing from you and being able to have you on the show means a lot. So I'd like for you to close out the show with a message for everybody, thanking God for everything.
Oh no, man! I am supremely thankful for God and what He's done, not only for me, but for all those around me. Because to me, it's not something just for you to be blessed, but you want everybody else blessed around you. It's not a selfish blessing. But I'm thankful because when I look at all the stuff that I've done, all the stuff that some dirt that I've done, that not only did He forgive me for, but He ain't let it get out. Like He ain't tell nobody. Like it never got on social media. It never got to my friends. It never got to anybody. Just He and I know. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that amidst all of my problems and mess ups and all the things, He's been faithful. And the one thing I can say is that God is faithful. Now, like I said, I've been dead. I've been in a coma, and I'm alive. He's faithful. I've been through a divorce. I've had businesses that failed, but He's been faithful. I've had patients who died, but He's been faithful. I've not been faithful, but He's been faithful. I've not shown up, but He's been faithful. And so to me, when I think about what God has done, I can't help but be thankful. Because when I look back at what I could be, and one of the greatest things about being a physician is to operate on people, is that you see people who are alive and then 10 seconds later they dead. What's the difference? What did they do that you haven't done? What have they said that you haven't said? What wrong have they did that you didn't do? So why are you here? And if you're here, you ought to be thankful, because especially all of us who know. And I was talking to one of my boys, man. We grew up together, same neighborhood, same high school, same everything. Some of our boys are in jail. Some of our boys are dead. We did the same stuff. We were 1 degree different. 1 degree that changed them from me going to jail and them going to jail, me being dead and them. And so to me, man, when you look at where you are, you can't help but be thankful.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm thankful, man. I always sit on the seat of thankfulness just because of how good God has been to me. And I'm not talking about houses, cars, and stuff, because that's petty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about kindness, graciousness, forgiveness, goodness, mercy. I'm thankful for that. And I also, and finally, I'm thankful for you, man. I'm thankful for what you're trying to do and how you're trying to do it with integrity, and you're faithful, man. You keep putting stuff out, and I believe God is going to reward your faithfulness.
I definitely appreciate you. My heart is heavy with gratitude and thankfulness and joy and pride, and to know that you said it earlier about if somebody else did it, that you can do it. To know that there's people out here like you doing what you're doing keeps me just honored, that knowing what our people can do, and sitting on your shoulders and riding your coattails. I can only imagine what's coming behind you and who's coming behind you.
You are.
It's past me. It's others that look up to you and will see what you did and read about you and hear about you. And I'm not saying that to I'm saying everyone who is great, and all of us who are great, who do great things, but you are definitely special. So definitely want to give you your flowers and thank God for you. May God continue to bless you in all that you do. May God continue to watch over your hands, your heart, your ears, your eyes, and everything that you do. May God continue to bless your family. May God continue to bless everyone that the deaconess. Tell the deaconess cousin Ed said hello. Continue to bless the deaconess, that they're your backbone, that help you. Bless your staff. Bless everybody. I just thank God for you. Like I said, I didn't know you, but I felt like you were my brother. I know you're my brother.
Yes.
I didn't know you. I know you's my uncle. I didn't know you. Like, it's just everything about you just brought me to you, and thank God for the algorithm that he placed that you in front of me, and I continue to support you any way possible. I thank God for each and every one who's listening to this. May you have a great, great weekend. Be blessed, be blessed, be blessed. Yeah, last thing. If they want to find you, how can they find you? Give all your socials and
I think Instagram is snotdocnc, SNOTDOC NC, because that's really how I make my money, through snot. And on on TikTok it's Eric Mansfield _MD NC, MDNC. Yeah.
If y'all have any words of encouragement for him, words of thanks for him, definitely hit me up on any social media platform, or go to cousinedscorner.com. cousinedscorner.com. First top of the page, leave voicemail. I'll definitely forward the voicemail to him. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. Have a great, great weekend. Be safe. Peace.
Peace. Hey, this is Dr. Eric Mansfield. When I'm not operating or praying on my social media feed, I'm listening to Cousin Ed's Corner.
Thank you for listening to Cousin Ed's.